The President of the Otago University Students Association will tomorrow call on the University Council to back a plan for minimum standards for rental accommodation. A memorandum on the issue is on the agenda for the Council's meeting. Francisco Hernandez is here to give us an update on the issue. Good evening.
Good evening.
Remind us where this issue began.
Well, this issue has been a long-going issue. I think the issue of having healthy, warm and dry accommodation is something that people have been pursuing for ages. And what we're doing is we're putting in a cure, not a band-aid to this issue.
Now, there is legislation proposed. Where is it at?
The current bill that we've drafted is in its really early stages of being drafting. What I'm seeking for the University Council tomorrow is an endorsement on the idea of having minimum standards, not on the actual bill itself. The bill will still have to go through a lot of work and a lot of community consultation before it's ready to be passed by the Dunedin City Council. I'm asking for an endorsement on the idea of minimum standards from the University Council tomorrow.
Have you discussed the issue with University Council members?
I've discussed the issue with quite a few University Council members, and a lot of them are in support of the idea, and I'm hopeful for a positive outcome tomorrow.
And Mayor Dave Carroll has gotten on board as well. You've had recent discussions with him too?
Yes, and Mayor Carroll is also one of the university councillors, and we do have discussions around the issue. And what we're going to do next is have a lot of community consultation around this, because this is going to be a local bill, so it's important that the people of Dunedin have a hand in writing it.
What kind of standards are you hoping the bill will set?
We're hoping to set standards around heating, insulation and ventilation. What we found from our own OUSA survey results is that 70% of the student flats that we looked at had some sort of mold and dampness in them. 70% had inadequate ventilation, and about 30% didn't have enough good insulation. And what we're seeking to prevent is houses that are too cold, too damp, and just too bad to live in.
Now, should the bill pass and landlords then have to upgrade their homes, those costs will be passed on to renters. How do you feel about that? It'll be an increase to university students, for example.
I think while there might be an increase in rent, there will be a decrease in the price that students are paying to heat their flats, so there'll be more benefit than cost overall.
And this would affect every single rental property in the city, or just those in the student quarter?
This would affect all rental accommodation within the city, because unhealthy houses doesn't just affect students, it affects young families and it affects pensioners. So it's really important to set a minimum standard, not just for students, but for everyone in Dunedin, so we can have a better city.
How has the response from the public been so far?
The public response so far been quite good. There's a lot of traction around the idea that there should be a minimum standard for housing, because we accept a minimum standard for food, we accept a minimum standard for services, we accept a minimum standard for even cars through the Warner fitness system. So this is an idea whose time has come, and I think it's time for Dunedin to have warmer and healthier flats.
What's the timeline on this bill? Should you get the heads up from the University Council tomorrow, what happens next?
We'll be taking it to consultation around the community. I'm hoping that the Dunedin City Council will move a motion to endorse this bill before the end of October, and I'm hoping it'll get to Parliament before the end of the year in an ideal situation.
Oh, well, we'll wait and see what happens. Sounds like a great idea. President from the OUSA, Francisco Hernandez, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.